Yo, you know poetry drop it when the pen clicks, and poets get it popping with the pen click. You now rock with Kuya David, the prime poetry prime minister, out here with my brother Daniel Hees, the chubby fat god, and today we are blessed with the presence of, from the Bay to LA, from Riverside to Redondo. If you don't know, then you gonna know. We got Angela Peñaredondo. Let's get it. Bleh.
Meditations on a fist. 1. Grandfather. A clenched foot is to a body, object that strikes with fist around a wooden rod or slippery metal that pushed heavy hooves through a field shadow where water. I grew around acres of mud, and the seeds we planted under its weight dug. A fist equivalent to a machete, as rifle, as beretta, as pistol above a skull. It opens into a plume. From the world, it hides all 5 fingers, can fit into a womb or a mouth. A man seated tied with hemp rope, a strung up rooster's eyes widened to the ivory. Names and coordinates, he confesses once I remove my fist. The rain stops, heat rises to 10. 2. Grandmother. I cannot recall how early I knew or how it was shown to me as a girl in the parlor of my mother's living room. The piano, the mahogany floor, smelling of a wet earth. Fingers elongate to each personality, legs crossed in a schoolyard, my hands folded like gowns over my lap. Open, open, open. Old woman slices okra, tawny roots, a fish laid out, glassy and gutted. I clutch meat and foliage, cutting with precision and speed. I cannot keep up with my own fingers. I cannot help cutting into them. Yes, the fist. I can speak more on slicing. 3. Granddaughter. It transforms into a comment when used right, curled to meet the invisible, rendering them quiet. They cannot fit into this mouth. I always try, but teeth get in the way. Because I've been called small, men have said my cavity is not equipped to protect me from such things. I've learned this from my mother. That night, I dreamt of pummeling a man to paint. I brushed the ground with his own stain with my fist. How to break his nose, I do, but without breaking my fist first. Then there is a gift above all gifts, this nautilus of skin. I can make love with it, talk into my endless self, with or without grief. This portable cave is mine.
In the cuts, in the pen click.
Hey,
welcome.
Let's get it.
Thank you.
Fire.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, you got me in the feels right now. We're gonna get like, I just settled into this. Yeah, word.
Yeah,
this is like a. So I don't know if like that plays into this, but yeah, that just hit me hard. Welcome though.
Thank
Get
you.
in it. Poet, writer, teacher.
Yes.
Activist.
I try to be.
I hear you. Right, that's the struggle.
It is a struggle.
It's always a weird thing, like as a poet, because your work is considered activism to some degree. But then you know, like activist homies that are like losing everything and putting all of it out there, and you're like, oh no, don't call me an activist.
Yeah, I try to be
I'm
careful.
just a poet. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm not a rapper though, but kind of like, yeah, I'm more than that. But at the same time, it's like, like poetry, it can be activism.
Always.
Just like Mouse said, like art. Like there's activism within art itself. Like there is politics in art itself, whether you don't know it or you are aware of it. It's like politics will always be like forming our opinions, our own personal opinions. They always has effect in that. So
it's always influencing us, and that's what a great segue to jump right into it, right? So we can kick it off with the first part of the show, the threads and lines.
Yes, sir.
This is all first verse. All first verse. You about to get this work.
And Threads and Lines is the segment where we pull lines from the poet's piece and inquire what are the threads of life experiences that form those lines of poetry, threads and lines.
Hey.
Yeah. So first of all, off rip, it's like we really so to our listeners, right? This like we have to say this that like this is like a literary piece, would you say, right?
Yes.
So Angela, you are not like a performance poet, you are a literary poet.
I would say yes, although I do perform a lot, but I would say yes. I don't claim to be a spoken word poet. I don't identify as a spoken word performance poet.
Because we mentioned that because like like we both talked about this like when we were reading your piece, that how like this took like several rereads, and that's what literary poetry is supposed to do. Like you're supposed to reread a poem like on page, and until you get meaning, until you can like decode what you want, or when you can interpret what you want from it. And and it's like, so to the listener, if like some of these bars go over the head, like yo, chill, you could always rewind, or you could also like read the thing online, because again, like this poem is online, and you can reread to all your literary goodness. But yeah, it's like off rip, like we have to announce that like, yeah, this is a literary piece, so like don't be vexed if you don't get it off rip. It's like there's more to it, there's more metaphors to that. So there's meta 5s, meta 6s, you know what I'm saying? Like yo, we thinking this.
Patience in the game, y'all. Patience in the game.
Yeah. So like do you have like a line off rip?
Well, what hit me really strong, I mean, obviously the title is very important to writing us through this piece. But the first thing that really hit me, and again, going back to like what we were just saying about politics, is in The Grandfather, you have, and I'll just go straight to the line, a first equivalent to a machete, as rifle, as beretta, as pistol, above a skull, it opens into a plume. And there's like this great reference to like political climate and like the implications of that on a life, and this really nice, subtle hint at like masculinity almost, and violence in a very like egalitarian way, I guess. It's like when you're forced to be violent, when you have to be violent, again, when these hands turn into something violent because of necessity. So I wasn't sure if that was experiential, if this is like your family story, if this is just a story, if I may just be way off base and be ascribing something to it that I'm not.
No, I think you're really, really close to the mark. That piece is definitely referencing stories from my grandfather, or stories that he's told me when he was alive. He was a guerrilla soldier, guerrilla resistance soldier during World War II, during the Japanese occupation, and I've been doing a lot of research on that. So that piece is sort of me projecting or channeling him. Yeah,
and you certainly get that, and like again, like the political climate of, as like Filipinos, like that is a thing you have to address. Like all people, unfortunately, war is a political. Again, politics are influencing. But the Philippines like being like a subject of subjugation, again and again, and again and again. And you also like show the transformation of that, to take your hands from doing what you need to do to sustain yourself to doing what you need to do to survive. Right. You know? And the poem is called Meditations of a Fist. So what your hand does, and on each stanza you have to I found myself like having to constantly look back at the title. It's like, what is this about again? Meditations of a Fist. And then how like each line refers to a fist. Like, oh, okay. And that's like an exercise that like I don't do often, because me being more into like stage poetry and performance poetry, it's like, oh, right, I have to reread this part. Okay. And stage poetry, you also find sometimes the point is almost too clearly made. Right. It's almost too like, hey, this is the point. And it's like, there's no room for interpretation. There's no room for like playing or like cross-referencing or any of that. You got no. Yeah. Well, like going on the same stanza with the grandfather stanza, like I remember like I had to do the motions with my hands to like figure some of this out. Like from the world, it hides all 5 fingers. So if you hide all 5 fingers, boom, like it turns into a fist. And hides all 5 fingers, can't fit into a womb or a mouth. So there's a fist in the womb, there's a fist in the mouth. Like what does that mean? And then like a man seated, tied with hemp rope, or strung up, rooster eyes wide into the ivory. So. Yeah, that was bars. It was like, but again, like on my 7th reread, it's like, I had to like motion it out with like my hands, like, what is like hide? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yo, physical bars. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And that was dope. But taking it back to the first stanza, a clenched foot is a body object that strikes with fists around a wooden rod or slippery metal. So. Is this talking about a carabao, and tilling fields? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. There is some stuff. There is reference there. My grandfather grew up in the mountains. Right. He grew up around farmland. He was also like doing all that stuff, working with the earth. So before he became a soldier, that's what he did. Okay. So yeah. I asked because the wording really got me on this, because I was stuck on this like first 4 lines, like clenched foot. I was like, so if I clench my foot, you know what I'm saying? And then foot is to a body object. I'm like,
what is that? And then that strikes with fist around a wooden rod. So if there's a wooden rod, I'm like, what? And but then like as it went down to heavy hooves, like, oh, so like the clenched feet are like the hooves, and around the wooden rod, because the backhoe is like behind the carabao. So therefore it's trudging like around, technically around. Like that was like yeah, the wording was like really tricky. Can you like explain like your writing process on like it's not necessarily abstraction, but I would say that like the writing is a bit more obtuse than like a direct, like if you were to do this on stage, right? Like you would word this like in a much more simpler manner, but because this is a page poem, then like you can like codify it as much as you want for the reader to like figure it out. So like what was your whole like writing process to get to that point of trying to paint that image?
Okay, that's a really great question. I'm a huge fan of like non-linear storytelling. You know,
shout out to Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
Shout out to like, Memento. Yo, hey, we in here.
I don't know who those folks are, but I'm just like, yes, that's dope. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of non-linear storytelling. And so I think there are other ways that we or the writer or the artist can channel emotions, whether it's violence or trauma or memory that can be painful. So when you channel those memories, or even those like intergenerational traumas that are associated to memory, and many times they come in fragments. They come in nonlinear visions and whatnot. And so that's something I try to embrace and celebrate, and at times even like go with the struggle of that. Like it doesn't always have to make sense every time.
Yeah. Would you say that's kind of like your writing method of like trying to find that nonlinear approach? Like is that kind of like your bag, or is that just
organic
like
than that?
Actually no. Like I started really, really narrative. I started like a poem starts with the beginning of a story, ends in sort of like a story-like fashion. There's like closure, and now I'm embracing more that struggle, and which is, you know, kind of looking back at stories that hurt, looking back at intergenerational trauma, looking back at things like that. And it doesn't always come out in very clean, defined ways. And so I'm really interested in that process now, but it hasn't always been that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you very masterfully like bring us there, because the scene you just described, this what is it called, Kuya? The ox, the
carabao, or a water buffalo in English.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tilling the field, like it is this like you said, abstract or obscure scene building at the very beginning, but then you tie it in because I don't know what that is, but as soon as we're into hooves and rainwater and like acreage and like those words really masterfully like set the scene. And then lastly, the last like thing that I want to ask, because if I was reading this, like if I got this in a book, I would read this, and the first question, once I got it, would be, is the author the granddaughter?
Yeah,
are you the granddaughter?
I kind of assumed that.
Yeah. Are you the granddaughter?
Yeah, okay. I am the granddaughter. Yeah.
But it's not like, and again, sometimes when we're poets, like I'll write in third person, and it's 60% me. And then I'll write as myself, and it's 100% me. Is it the former, or is it like you are the granddaughter, or you are influencing the granddaughter character?
It's both.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's really, really both. And I think it's really a decision of the writer, but in this case it's both. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to tap into these triad, spaces without having some kind of personal connection. However, I don't have control over what the readers connect with. So if the reader is like, well, I feel more connected because the writer is the granddaughter, that's cool. But if not, that's okay too. I kind of like to give that space for the reader to kind of fit or not fit into whatever space they feel comfortable engaging with the piece.
Get in where you fit in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the context of knowing you obviously informs that. If I didn't know that you were a young woman, I would never assume, you know what I'm saying, that you were the granddaughter. But like if this was written by an old person, then you would assume different things. So context. Oh, yeah. Context always, bro.
Yeah, facts.
Context. That's it, though. That's Threads in Line. We appreciate you. So fire. Meditations on a Fist. Peep game. So strong.
Yeah.
So strong.
We'll put a link of like where you can find it in the notes and stuff.
Yeah, it's published. We'll definitely let you all know. And one thing, again, like I hate titling my work because I never feel like it's, not always, but whenever you find that good title and it's like, boom, that's what it is. That's nice. But like this title was very simple, and it was still like all right, I'm gonna. It was necessary.
Yeah, because you had to like come back to it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving though on to keep rocking and rolling.
Yes, sir.
Straight into the 2-piece.
Yes, sir.
2-piece combo.
For the listeners, for Angela, for the gods and the earth, for everybody out there, for you, the 2-piece combo is a part of the show where we're gonna watch a video on YouTube, a poetry video, a special poetry video this time. We'll get
first. We're gonna review Motionpoems. Sea Salt, a poem by David Mason, adapted for Motionpoems. Motionpoems is pretty dope. It's like they got the button poetry push a couple times, but yeah, they have their own channel on YouTube, Motionpoems. Check them out. Dope visuals with cool poetry.
You'll see. You'll see right now, somewhere around here. You'll see.
All right, I'm about to get into this, and just hit spacebar if, like, whenever you want to pause it.
Sea Salt by David Mason. Light dazzles from the grass over the carnal dune. This too shall come to pass, but will it happen soon? A kite nods to its string. A cloud is happening above the tripping waves.
Boom. All right. So really nice. Like she gets us in, or the writer. I don't really know who this was written by. But they get us in with like this really nice poetic, like poetry, and it's pretty. And then the cloud is happening. Like what a weird statement. Like
right. They prefaced it with a line that says like a kite. Something.
A kite, it tugs on its string,
right.
and I wasn't so clear, but I feel like I'm entering like a TED Talk video right now, which is kind of cool because I really dig TED Talks, but I feel like I'm getting into sort of a TED Talk educational video.
All right.
Yeah.
Right, because of the tone of her voice and all that.
Yeah, the tone of the voice.
That's what it is.
And the
like artistry.
The artistry is really nice.
But you know what? I feel like this hermit crab deadass is like throwing me off because like this is not about a crab, bro.
Yeah.
It's like the whole time I'm like watching this crab.
Why are we experiencing this through a hermit crab?
Yo, like now that I said it out loud, it's like deadass. Like this throws me off.
Now that's
straight
all
up.
y'all are gonna see for the next 2 minutes.
Okay,
but
anyway.
I just really like a cloud happening because there's not a lot to ascribe to that. Like it's not like the cloud is raining or like the crowd. It's happening.
It's existing.
And is it a cloud or crowd?
I think it's cloud.
Okay.
Because kite.
Oh yeah, right.
And then they kind of go on to expound on that like almost atheist tip, like with what we're about to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Joined by another cloud. They are a crowd that moves.
No, that was crowd.
Yeah. So now it's changing up a bit. So now I'm thinking, are we talking about people now? Because all these buildings are like, I mean, the animation is really, really also, I don't know if it's working with a poem, but it's doing something. It's pushing the poem.
I was taking a presentations class like back in college, and my professor said like, never let your slideshow go ahead of your speech. And I feel like the animation is like it's animating a little bit too early.
Pacings,
the pacing's off because it's starting to spoil like certain lines.
Yeah, and it's a really overwhelming thing too. All these buildings come in after all this.
It looks beautiful though. So shout out Motionpoems.
Yes.
I did really like though the idea of like this cloud is just happening, and then when two things happen, you know what I'm saying, it becomes a new thing.
Yeah.
And it turns into a whole different thing. Interpersonal connection, blessed gods.
Okay.
Maybe that might just be me, but that's why we here, yo.
Sky becomes a shroud cut by a blade of sun.
That's hard.
There's nothing to be done.
The sky becomes a shroud cut.
It must be the buildings
with a
because there's
blade
so
of
many
light.
buildings. I mean, the animation is playing such a role here. So I'm thinking
and
all
also,
this urban buildings popping up, and there's not a lot of sun coming
if like
through.
David Mason, like the guy who wrote the poem, if he had like creative approval on this, because if he didn't, then we are watching like someone's interpretation of this poem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I wasn't crazy about that line though, Kuya. I don't know why you like that so much.
The soul, if there's a soul, moves out to what it loves, whatever makes it whole. The sea stands still and moves, denoting nothing.
Stands still and moves, word.
Nothing new, deliberating now. The days are made of hours.
No shit.
Hours of instances.
He clears it up though. Stands still and moves. He's deliberating now. You know what I'm saying? Like he's standing still but moving. You can't figure out what you're gonna do.
Do you know that days are made of hours though?
That was
all of them. Every single one.
Right. I was hoping for a more unpredictable line after that, and something that references the crab, but there hasn't said anything about that. This really cute crab.
Yeah, we're just nitpicking this shit because we watched this 5 times already. So we're starting to catch things like.
Come on, hour. Come on.
Yeah, I'll bring it back.
Denoting nothing new, deliberating now. The days are made of hours. Hours of instances, and none of them are ours.
That's cute.
The sand blows through the fences. Light darkens on the grass. This too shall come to pass.
Yeah.
How lit though they get us back to that imagery. Though.
Yeah.
Like so they take us there and then we're like, all right, we're at this place, and then it's like, let's go to everywhere in the world. Like let's make this big and crazy and like the wonderful esoteric world of poetry.
Sure.
And then I'm just gonna bring you right back to this place and right back to this little grassy hermit crab hole.
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah, about
Right.
birth and
The
like
whole-
birth and destruction seems like it.
Hey, I appreciate that.
That whole
I
thing of
appreciate that.
like, yeah, like we are here in like we see like a hermit crab, and like the hermit crab, like the shell is its home, and like so home is where the heart is. I guess. Am I reaching? Is this a Dulcine yoga you reach? I don't know, but at the same time, it's like because like they have like these like the buildings popping up, and it's like yeah, but my home is where my soul is, or
yeah.
It had an older tone feel, like this like older, maybe romantic sort of, I don't know, Edgar Allan Poe-ish sort of.
There is a weird macabre nature to it.
Yeah, there's a macabre
And the
nature.
whole, like,
it
yeah.
rhymes, everything rhymes, and there's
like
repetition.
this too shall come to pass. Like that's a line.
And then they question like existence at one point.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and then that nihilist like the cloud is happening. Like that's some nihilist bullshit right
It is.
there.
Visually, this is pretty lit
Cloud
though.
is
Like I
happening.
also enjoy like the art of it, and that must have took a while to
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
me out. This is a lot of work for like a 2-minute video about poetry, and it's lit. Like we appreciate you. That definitely added to my initial enjoyment of it all.
do. You know, me working in advertising and like when we make like these 20-second like little trailer vids like that you'll see for 3 seconds on your Facebook feed, it's like how many weeks go into that of client approval, and not only for you to be like just like scroll past it. It's like, yo, man's really put in like lots of hours to bring some, beautiful aesthetics to that poem. And it's like, yeah, it's well appreciated. Shout out Motionpoems.
Yeah, and that definitely influenced me.
All right, now for the fun part.
And it's certainly going to influence my score right now.
Yeah. So on the 2-piece, we always grade it out of 10, just like you would at a slam event.
Okay.
So this is where the scoring system comes from.
Okay.
So
1 to
Angela,
10 with decimal points.
yeah, with decimal points. So out of 10, how would you rate this piece?
I would say a 5.
Hey, all right. That's real
Fair.
median.
Yeah,
That's real.
I mean, it's
that's literally dead in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the animation just was like you said, like it must have taken a lot of work. It's not anymore this poem for the page or a poem to be performed. It's like a poem that's in a video with animation in the background, and the animation was really beautiful. It took a lot of time, but I'm agreeing with what you said. Like the poem just it wasn't as vibrant. It didn't really get to me. It wasn't speaking to my soul, but there was something there that kind of made sense with the animation. It
there
was
were
a good
little
pairing.
flares that like you could appreciate.
Little flares, yeah.
Like
little
kind of like
flares.
when you watch like the Never Ending Story Part 3, which is like the worst of the Never Ending
Where they
Story
go to the
movies.
mall.
Yeah, where they go to the mall and all that. It's like you could really appreciate that. Like they have a poppin' soundtrack. Like they spent their entire budget to get that one Aaliyah song on the soundtrack, but the rest of the
Bless
movie is
the
pretty
God.
trash. It's like that's what it is. It's like
We miss you, Aaliyah.
yeah, effects, and like we get like a few little flares like that are cool poetry wise, but overall it's like it's okay.
The poetry lends to the video. The video doesn't lend that much to the poetry.
Right.
The video isn't like in reinforcing the poem very much, but it's beyond the obvious like buildings. Here's some buildings, and ray of light. Here's a ray of light, and like.
Yeah, again, like
but
we are watching someone's like interpretation of the poem.
But a 5, I feel like a 5 is a little low.
Yeah,
I
wow.
do. I'm not gonna give it a 5.
real because I
Okay.
would have thought you would have scored lower because like so what you got? What you got, bro?
The poem, because I'm on some like atheist Buddhist like tip, like you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to find God everywhere, and I don't think God exists. So like I really appreciate that part of the poem. So personally,
It's
it got
connecting.
me
It's
there
hitting with you.
just because of like the God struggle, and I was able to like ascribe some of my own personal stuff to it. But like as a whole, the poem wasn't like great.
Yeah.
I feel like it was an underdeveloped piece. Like it could have been with a couple redrafts more concise, I guess.
Okay. So what are we saying?
I'm gonna say not far from the 5, but like not close to that God 7. So I'm gonna say like a 6-1.
Okay.
6-1. The 1 was me being generous.
Hey, yo, son, I have a 0.1.
Yeah,
that's like when you add like 10 cents to the tip just so it rounds out to an even number on the bill. It's like, yeah, go ahead.
Word. I appreciate like the poem for what it is, which is a strong 5. I appreciate the video and what it is, so I'm gonna give it an extra point. And then 0.1 again, just because like I see you.
Yeah. Damn, bro. It's like the visuals it takes a lot of effort. It's good, but unlike the Jeffrey Almonte piece, where like that visual clearly was done and filmed for the piece that he wrote,
and even though those two things were different things, they lended to each other very well.
Perfect, and that was our bar for like,
check it out.
This is 7.5, if not an 8, if not a whatever you want to score. Like that is the bar. And compared to this, like now that we've seen what like good looks like, and compared to this, it's like good visuals. But how the visuals married with the poetry, see, like that's the thing. It's like if you're going like in this new medium of poetry, where it's like it's a multimedia of like both, you know, visuals and sound and poetry text. It's like to combine this, it's like a dish. It can't be. It has to have a balance to it. Because if it's too spicy, then you can't taste anything else. If it's too sweet, then you can't taste anything else. It's like you have to find that balance, which this didn't have. I feel so. I give it. Because I sympathize with the visual designer, I give it a 6.2.
Okay.
6.2. Because like yo, like
so a 6.2.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, okay, 6.2.
Because you know, like poetry wise, it's like yo, I'm there with you on the 5 tip, but then at the same time, like it does have to have points for like what the motion designer did with the poem, and like they did their best to interpret, and like
Mad
the aesthetics
talented.
is wild talented. Like the way they stacked the text in that little sliver of light, I thought that was tight. You know, like
I appreciate it all, and like visually, it was all really nice, and it was all very like heart. Like I don't know, it was cool, but the visuals didn't tell any story. There was no like carrying force through the visuals. It was just like, hey, this looks nice,
right?
And this kind of references the poem.
But why do you think the crab though?
Yeah, I don't know why the crab. Like why not a turtle? You know?
Why do you think the crab, Angela?
I have no idea. Other than I love crabs. I thought maybe because this hermit crab is this lonely existential crustacean.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it might have something to do, maybe connecting with that nihilist vibe that you were getting.
There we go.
So that's what I thought about the crab.
There we go. And there could be like a vulnerability. There's an extra vulnerability to hermit crabs. They gotta come out their shell once in a while, and you know what I'm saying, risk the elements. That's it, though.
Word.
That's a big part of the 2 piece.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the second part of the 2 piece, where we pull up hashtag poetry off of Instagram, the first poem that comes up on the timeline under hashtag poetry.
The first real poem.
Well,
y'all.
not yet, because for example, we have like a picture of The Rock wearing the fanny pack. It's like, why is there hashtag poetry? You're not even on the captions. You could have like a dumbass photo, but as long as the caption is poetry. But if you don't even have like a little haiku or limerick in the caption, then nah, bro. It's like you're doing too much.
Yeah, word. I saw something hashtag poetry the other day, and it was lasagna. Y'all, come on.
Nah.
Come on.
So today's poem comes from at Killusioner Birth, KILLUSIONRE Birth. I'll put that. Yeah, you'll see the graphics. Ding. All right, boom, boom. All right, and it goes. That's a long one too. Their brain cuts and bleeds when I rip shit. Can't understand the level of ability I'm equipped with. Stay ready to empty the clip and chamber. Really, you don't need to think much to realize it's a no-brainer. Realize how can I put it any more simpler or plainer? I'm flying high, really high as a kite, pedal to the metal, speeding like a plane. I'm a little focused, not trying to disappear like Zayn. I'm in the game to win at all costs, going against the grain. Man, I'm fucking drained. Hey, what can I say in a way to make you understand I don't play? In this game, I lost my cool and they try to give me all the blame. Really, when I think about it enough, I feel insane. They came at me before on the mic and ended up slaying. Really, it's not a great idea to pick on my brain. Listen to the voice inside your head. That's what I'm saying. Damn, do you not understand? I can lift you like a crane. I blow that smoke out my face and proceed to run over you like a train. Collusion, rebirth.
Hey, okay, that made me want to like jump into the cipher right now.
Right,
that's what that feels like. This is like backpack cipher in like the locker room in high school.
Right, and this is like drunk ass cipher. No, this is a drunk cipher, but you have like some pre-writtens like in your back pocket. So I was like, let me get these like one like these 3 couplet bars off real quick, and then like just like, stringing them together. I used to do that. Like I would always have like got to. Yeah, I would always have like a 32 in the back pocket, or I would have like. I would have like my premeditated punchlines. Oh, like, yo, I be spitting for the masses, and you a 4-eye, so I'm gonna throw away your glasses. Because I had a glasses punchline there.
There's a homie there with glasses.
Yeah, or if they wear a sweater, it's like, yo, you better come better. Why stay in the hood like in the back of a sweater? This sounds like a bunch of like strung up
sounds like drunk Kuya on a Saturday
Facts.
in Pasadena.
On my Snapchat going we in the building on IG. Like no, IG stories. Forget that. We on Snap. It's like just going off like just barring out like off of my premeditated ones that I made while I'm on my office toilet and like just trying to come up with some bars for your ass. But yeah, like. It took me a while to realize that this was a rap. It was like
it is definitely a rap. At one point, like I didn't like this all that much. Again, just because it is what it is. This isn't what I was looking for. I was looking for like a poem, and there's not much poetry in this. It's just rapidy rap. But there is a moment that like I was like, nah, bruh. More simple would have worked like within the cadence of the poem.
Okay, well, because like I don't know, like
and simpler.
Like, because how simple are the rhymes and how simple are the punches? Where like are the similes like high as a kite, pedal to the metal, speeding like a plane. It's like
lift you like a crane.
Yeah,
it almost sounds like the video poem we saw. There's a kite in there. And there's some
shout out
other
to Angela for seeing the silver lining to this song.
Yeah, trying. The unfortunate part of this is that like I need to score this, and I don't really know what I'm scoring, and I need to hear it
because,
again.
Like,
but I don't want to hear it again.
Facts.
You know, like
and it's
I would never go back and read this again.
If this was just like a straight up freestyle, or back in the 2000s era of rap message boards where you would do a key style where you freestyle on the keyboard, that's what this reads like. Exactly that. And for a key style, it's okay.
Yeah, cool.
You know?
Yeah, you did 16 on Instagram.
Yeah.
Dope.
But because you posted this for like for your timeline, right?
And because you hashtagged it poetry.
Right. We have to grade this. And
as a poem.
Eesh, goddamn, bro.
Angela, you got any thoughts? You got any numbers?
I'm trying to pull my thoughts together. I mean,
I'll give it a 3.5.
3.5?
Yeah.
A 3.
Oh wow, that's really low.
No. Well, is it?
That's
though?
okay.
Because it's been lower.
Because
it's been lower.
It's been
really?
lower.
Has there been any negatives?
There's been a 1. No, we ain't like that.
Okay.
Everybody need a little shine.
Yeah, because all right. So this has poetic merit and it rhymes and I get what he's doing and like, but at the same time, this does like read it as like a key style. So. For a freestyle thing, like you know, like when you
but
go,
this wasn't a freestyle. This probably wasn't a freestyle.
When you go, you never know. Like I'm trying to give a benefit of the doubt. Okay. All right, I'm trying to give benefit of the doubt. So if this is a key style, as we say, then yeah, I'll give you points for that, and I'll give you points for making effort to
make something.
Yeah,
you made some art. Cool.
Yeah,
appreciate
and
you.
like it's within a format. I'm not big on like cursing like in like unnecessary cursing. Cursing is cool if there's a point to it, but then when you say fucking as like syllable filler, and that shit is whack. That's I might take away that point too, but yeah, 3-2. Right. But initially I said 3-2, so the graphics will say 3-2, and there'll be like gunshots or something. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you, Angela. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I did feel like I was in some kind of garage cipher or like backyard cipher, and I was there like here, like I'm just listening like, oh, okay, and that was a good rhyme. But I mean, in the tradition, I guess, of like freestyle and that tradition of like, I gotta show my shit, I gotta say something to the folks that are like talking shit about me, and
I'm
then
awesome.
letting them know like how badass I am.
About rapping,
rapping about rapping.
Every MC needs that.
Needs that. So perhaps the MC needed to put that out. Maybe had to get his or her or whoever, like their frustration out there, and that made them feel good. Maybe this is directed towards somebody, I don't know, that was talking shit about him.
I love this positive vibe that she's putting around this
bring us back up.
Bring us back up. Yeah,
I'm trying to like save myself from what the lowest score I gave to that video poem. So I'm gonna give this person a 4.5.
Hey, all right.
A 4.5 for, you know, for being public and for trying really hard and for bringing me back to, like, you know, the garage or the backyard sort of cipher times. I don't do so much of that anymore. That doesn't mean anything though. I just haven't had a lot of time, but, you know, for bringing me back, you know, and it's almost like me hearing my friends kind of go at it and kind of, you know.
So this just reminded you of people who actually did it, is what you're saying. Yo, this thing like reminds me of other people doing it.
Poetry,
but that's
right?
the tradition of that. That's the style, you know, like, again, like having to like identify like, hey, I know you guys are talking shit about me, but let me just tell you that I am badass, that I, you know, that I can spit these rhymes, I can rhyme like something with a weapon to like whatever. Or
and in its defense, it wasn't like on the nose violent or misogynist or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I be getting like there was none of that.
So we're giving points to not being problematic. Is that what it is? Is that what we're doing out here?
I'm not. I'm really glad that Angela gave it a 4.5. I'm really glad that you gave it a, what was it? A 3.2. 3.2. Because Angela almost got me right now, because I was like, yeah, you know what? You are putting it out there. And you know what? How brave of you to put your 16 out there and like to like, you know, put your rapidy rap out there. And it did take me to high school when like we rapping after school and stuff like that. And the score I would have given those raps is the score I'm going to give this, which is like a 2.4, bruh. This just feels like
understandable.
Just a freestyle that's like, well, you didn't really write this, and you couldn't transfer this into like real bars. This is never gonna be that hot 16 that you drop when you're at the homies, and he's like, you want to jump on the feature real quick, and you're like, yo,
you do not want to be spinning this on your team backpack cipher tryout, bro. You don't want to be doing that.
No, this is something you do like again in the backyard, like when you half drunk and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna spit these bars because I spit these bars.
It's lit.
Yeah, word. So yeah, I'm gonna say 2.4.
But shout out to Angela for really like, you know, bringing the positivity and like you know, giving kudos to the artistry.
And it is hard. Like, it is hard to put your art out there, especially when it's like, oh, now you assholes are just gonna put numbers to my art. Who the fuck are you? So we see you, we appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, still dead on.
Shout out to Killusion Rebirth.
Yeah, bless.
Hashtag poetic, hashtag swag, hashtag hard work, hashtag hot 97, hashtag power 106, hashtag up next, hashtag funk flex, hashtag hip hop culture, hashtag rap legend.
We're still going with the hashtag.
Yo, Mans is out here trying to get the shine.
I'm going to say 2.2 and we're going to move this on out of here. So on to the last part of the show. It's almost over. This is it, Angela. We about there.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
On to the last part of the show, my favorite part of the show, because, you know, we do talk a lot of shit.
Yeah.
There is a lot of shit talking,
Yeah, if you click up, we flex hard. So on to the 5 for your eye.
Yes, sir. 5 for your eye is when we give the poet, before the podcast, like 5 words to write a 5-word prompt piece. So they come through, write a poem of any format, any style, whatever. As long as they use the 5 words, please use the 5 words.
Yeah, y'all, we see you. We see you. We appreciate you. We gave Angela 5 words. We got them here. We got colossal. Mm-hmm. We got worthy. Mm-hmm. We got sour. We got excess. And we got bones.
Yes.
With an S, y'all.
Yes.
With the S, y'all, bones. So we gave Angela those 5 words. Like Kuya said, she can do anything she wants with them. It just has to be a poem. We give her a little time to write it, and this is what she brought in.
Okay. Notes on deterioration. My grandfather once brujo. He's turning apparition now. I mean, he still drowns his finger, clings to wall mirror, examines its edges as if it was a trap door swung open, something beyond his reflection of bone, a reflection he barely knows. Underwear, slippers, white ribbed shirt torn, seams, gold medallion, sighs with a saint he no longer understands. Every morning and before bed, he shoves his index down his throat, always just water, saliva, the dinner of rice, salty fish, and banana, mug of sour beer, the sound of his vomiting, both animal and boy, so intimate, this able body and its lack of liberation and excess. Even the food forgets his mouth, now a mechanical thing, unable to withhold any kind of power or authority, frailty melted into a shallow puddle. What friends are gone, he cannot explain what he knows or what has been passed down from his Malay grandfather, from Jesuit slave masters. His lover won someone's wife from Taiwan, the Moors of Mindanao out of his blood. All he can manage is smacking of lips. His tongue does not taste anymore. Hands that wrestle my grandmother against the kitchen counter, or when I dodge his punch, his spit, I try to remind him that he once loved her, that he loved her enough to save her from the Japanese or the Americans, their cocks, their rifles, stolen bolos like severed sugarcane stalks, luminous sunflowers. But I remind myself there are no sunflowers that grow on my island or any of the islands belonging to this archipelago. I will not name kings who arrived before with their colossal crosses, their disempowered genitals in need of more power, embracing my women like dirt mounds. Our third-gendered shamans criminalized, transformed to Aswang. The speckled warblers flame into temple. And when he shakes her to the point that her neck and head become two properties, I cannot find worthy sleep. Instead, I escape out my teenage window over roses, the skinny trees of a starred suburbia. My bowels haven't moved in hours. Sometimes fucking helps or doesn't. Starlight, a decapitated serenity as every motion towards the margins. Colonization, I repeat, dehumanizing the most civilized man.
God, it's the stars shine. That was so fire. That just got me again gutturally. You taking us there.
Thank you.
Taking us there. Angela, Peñaredondo?
Peñaredondo.
Yes,
Peñaredondo.
that's my last name.
Where can they find you? They find you at apeñaredondo.com. So
Yes.
apeñaredondo.com. I'm sure Kuya will throw something up.
Yeah, it's gonna be
you
there.
can see something. You can see something. They can find you though on Facebook, all the social medias.
Yes, Facebook. I'm still trying to do the social media. We'll just say Facebook
There
right
we go.
now.
So go find her on Facebook. Go on Amazon. Go on her website. Buy her books. She got a couple books out. All things losed thousands of times.
Yes.
Go peep that.
Yes.
Go on Amazon. Give it a buy. Give it a review. It's fire, y'all. Trust me, it's fire.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get a
Thank you
taste
so
of this
much.
literary poetry from the literary goddess in the building.
Getting it.
Hey.
Getting it. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Yeah.
For reals.
This is
The
fun.
show.
Kuya, appreciate you.
Y'all can get at me, Kuya David, the Prime Poetry Prime Minister, at Prime Poetry LG. That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. That's on Twitter. You could get at us at Pen Click. So you could get us on Facebook, on Instagram. We are at the Pen Click on Twitter, because Pen Click is on Twitter is actually some South American or South African like TV company that never got off, and they won't let go of the damn handle. Just let go, bro. Like it's done. The Pen Click is popping, bro. Like
we out here.
we out here.
Penclick.net though.
Let's get it. Yeah, penclick.net. We out here in the building. And Daniel Hees, where can they get at you?
You can always find me, Daniel J. Hees, bandcamp.com, danielJhees.wordpress.com, at The Chubby Fat. Go check out everything we're doing over at Chubby Fat. We're trying to stay lit. We're trying to stay, funny. We're doing, you want to mix it up a little bit, go over there. You can come out to Dim Lights out in Pomona. We're doing all kinds of stuff. Hit me on Facebook. We always out here. So bless the goddess.
Hey.
We appreciate you, Angela.
Thank you. Appreciate you too.
All of you as well. Thank y'all.
Thank you all.
Y'all watch the Pen Click on YouTube, so y'all know what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, ride, survive.
Thank y'all.
Love y'all.